It is March 8th on 2:05 in the afternoon, and we have some sad news, folks. This week's episode will not feature Erik Van Djismie. Erik Van Djismie was...
killed.
No. Oh, you're so cruel, man.
Yeah, his limo blew up.
No.
Paul London did it. He smiled when he walked backstage. He blew the limo up.
That's a good point. No, Erik Van Djismie was rushed to hospital the other night. He's all right now. But he's recuperating at home, so he will not be a part of the show. So obviously we wish Erik Djismie all the best in his future endeavours.
But this does mean we'll have more than one rock fact this week.
Yes, it does. On the plus side, when he comes back, he'll be a face.
We've got to tell him.
Well, he's come back from injury, technically.
Yeah, but when Cena came back from injury, he still got booed.
Yeah, but to be fair, he always got booed. It doesn't matter. Actually, he did get some of a pop when he came back at Royal Rumble.
Yeah, he got the initial, oh fuck, he's back. And then if you listen to it, maybe 3 seconds after the cheer, it's just every other New Yorker going, fucking hell, when did it? No, he wasn't supposed to come out.
Yeah. Although I would love to see a fight between Djismie and John Cena.
Book it. Hashtag good booking.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and fellow markouts, I am SteveJones313 at SteveJones313 on Twitter. This is Dan, the Geek King Adamson at King632, and we are your Total Markouts for episode 5 of Total Markout. Thanks very much for joining us, everybody. Wow, we're almost 1:45 seconds in, and we've been bitching on about Djismie, who isn't here. For once, not because he's a lazy twat, but because he is, as we said, recuperating at home. So the show must go on.
He'll be counting how many times his name is mentioned.
Well, he's getting over,
Yeah, that's what he thinks.
So,
I'm going to do what Triple H does. I'm going to bury the fucker.
For once, I'm not being the bad guy. Now, we could start the show by doing the normal shtick of reviewing Raw, SmackDown, TNA, NXT, Superstars, because these guys reckon they're important.
But we can't be asked.
Yeah, but it's also much more. It also wouldn't be right without Djismie here, to tell us why we're wrong.
But to be fair, you used to agree with
yes,
that.
a surprise turn of events. This week's Raw, me and Djismie were commentating live on Twitter, and we agreed on absolutely everything. We did not have a single disagreement. Check out our Twitter messages. You can follow Djismie, by the way, at Erik Van Djismie. That's
Eric with a K and Djismie with a D.
Yeah,
and the D is silent.
Yeah, ErikVanDjismie. I forgot how to spell for it. Yes, I will take your round of applause and drink my beverage.
Out of the Total Markout Cup, available on cafepress.com.
Yes.
I'll get us some money.
It's alright. Once you get the address right, that'll be fine. Anyway.
Fuck you.
You're the one that's getting the address wrong.
I barely know my own home address.
However, speaking of various websites, we do also have another website. We are also on Tumblr now, thanks to this man on my right. So tell me about the Tumblr.
Yes, we're on Tumblr. It's just a daily blog we'll be updating. Currently doing a 30-day wrestling challenge. The today's wrestling challenge was the worst finishers ever on a wrestling game, person, or match. And I believe Erik Van Djismie's was the STFU from John Cena, or, because we're currently in the PG era, the STF.
Yes, mine was the Ultimate Warrior's Ultimate Splash, which, let's face it, is shit.
And mine was MVP's Playmaker, because, well, you do more damage to yourself than you do to the person. Yes,
if you want to take part in the 30-day wrestling challenge, just simply visit totalmarkout.tumblr.com, and you can look back at all the challenges done so far, and then just post your own. Also, if you want us to reblog it, just follow us on Tumblr, let us know that you posted it, and we will reblog that motherfucker for you.
You can ask us questions on there, just click the question mark at the top of the page, or even submit your own ideas by clicking the submission button at the top of the page as well.
And we're going to be making a Facebook page so you can follow us there. So, that is all of the advertising, marketing, and plugging spiel out the way. Let's get down to the show. Now, obviously, it's Wrestlemania season.
Is it?
Yeah, so you don't know?
No, I missed that part.
Wrestlemania season, and it's time, it's time to, get excited. It's time to look forward to the epicness and the major botches you're going to see on the grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania.
The major botches.
Well, that's what I say. If you're going to botch, you might as well botch at WrestleMania. Because, hey, at least people will remember it. Now,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's about right, yeah.
Yeah. So the question is, how is WrestleMania shaping up? Well, we've got to look at the storylines heading into WrestleMania, how they're being advertised and packaged, and whether it's working or not at the moment in time. So, Dan, which storyline do you want to start us off with?
Well, why don't we start off with the lower card?
Okay.
What will probably be one of the earlier matches on the show, I would have thought, would be Cody Rhodes versus Big Show for the Intercontinental Championship.
This storyline, as far as I can tell, it's been done okay. I mean, I like the way that, it gives Big Show a match, and he's got to win, as far as I'm concerned.
Why is it just killing Big Show off?
Yeah, but this is what annoys me about that storyline. Cody Rhodes is meant to be bright. This is not how it is. Basically, Cody Rhodes, mind games. You're doing it wrong.
It's supposed to be arrogant, though, as well.
Yeah, but he even realises that after showing it, right, basically, on last week on Raw, there's a match where Big Show versus Miz.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes comes out, shows a video package of Big Show eating at a restaurant as opposed to being at Mania. So basically,
which I'm quite jealous of because I always wanted to go to that restaurant.
You're just jealous of anyone that's eating food at the time.
I'm eating food now.
You're still jealous.
I know.
You're looking at the donuts we have at this desk lovingly.
Oh yeah, you keep eating them.
Because you're not eating them yet. And in fairness, I closed the box.
Yeah, after your fourth one.
There was like 17 in there. Or something like that. Anyway, moving on. Actually, there's 15 I've counted. Anyway, moving on. But basically after you showed the footage, Big Show decimated The Miz. And there's a look at Cody Rhodes as to say, shit, that didn't work. No fucking shit, Sherlock. Yeah, piss off the giant. I mean, I could see generally the idea is, I'm going to get him so mad he's going to make a mistake. When you're near 500 pounds, 7'1", you don't make mistakes. You just hurt more people than intended.
I can see what your point is. I always like the idea that, they're acknowledging that Big Show is not great at WrestleMania. I mean, if we look back at his WrestleManias briefly, we'll look at his debut at 15 against Mankind.
Yeah.
Sure, he walked out the ring, but he lost. And there was 16 to WrestleMania 2000 in the Fatal 4-Way.
Yeah.
I believe he was the first man eliminated.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's not great. 17, he was in a hardcore triple threat against Kane and Raven.
He performed well.
He performed well, but once again,
he walked out the loser. Well, he didn't.
Kane won.
Yeah, he didn't actually walk out the loser.
He probably limped back or something.
Yeah.
WrestleMania 18, he was on that thing. No, WrestleMania, he was in the restaurant.
I bet he had a lovely dinner though.
Probably.
Well, that's the way to beat him in a match.
WrestleMania 19, he was part of the tag team match between him and A-Train and Undertaker and Nathan Jones, which I'll say it now before he says it next time he's on the show. Yes, Erik Van Djismie, it probably should have been a DQ because it was a handicap match announced, but at the end of the day, he was still part of the match, so get over it.
Yes.
And I believe Big Show lost that, although A-Train was the one who was pinned.
He still didn't win.
Yes. WrestleMania 20, he lost to that really good wrestler John Cena for the US title. 21 was the Akibono incident.
Don't bring up Akibono.
I just did.
Don't.
22...
Because then I have to imagine Big Show dressed as a sumo.
22 he won.
Who's he fighting against?
Yeah, a tag team match with Kane against
Yes, he
and
won
Chris
one.
Masters.
He did win one. He's tag team champion, man. Yes.
Yes.
Which is one of my favourite backstage segments that happened on Raw. When Chris Masters and Carlito lock Kane in a room and then Big Show has to move before I'll get your money! And Kane just walks out. It's like, how'd you get out? It was a back door. They locked you in a room that had a back door. They're not very smart, are they?
23, I don't believe he was there.
No, there was the one
because that was where he disappeared for his year off.
Yeah, and then
24 would have been the Floyd Mayweather Jr. incident. Floyd
Mayweather should have lost that match.
Oh, he should have got his hand crushed as well, just for fun.
Yeah, Big Show just crushed his hand. Yeah, fuck your career, dickhead. What was it, 20 million he was paid or something like that? Or the rumour?
Reportedly, it was around about 20 million he was paid for that one match.
And yet, no one in the business is actually allowed to talk about how much he was paid.
Mm-hmm.
They just said, so this 20 million is just like, no, we don't cover.
Yeah, I'm not touching that. 24, 25, he lost a triple threat to John Cena and Edge.
Mm-hmm.
26, and I don't remember if this was on the card or whether this was the dark match was him and Miz versus the Rock and Rap Connection, Joe Mo and R-Truth. I think it might have opened the show.
Probably.
But either way, he won that match. So there's another tag team match he won. And then, of course, last year he was on the 8-man tag with a team of Santino, Morella, Kofi Kingston, Kane, and Big Show versus The Core, which he won.
Yeah.
So he's never won a singles match.
Yeah.
And he's always needed a partner there to help him out.
Although this time he will not need any partners because he will destroy Cody Rhodes. But you reckon the feud's been built up well enough?
Yeah, I think it's been done well. I think I like the fact that Cody he's the antagonist in this one. You know, he's costing him this, he's costing that, and when you see Cody's got a bit of venom to him when he fights as well in the ring now. He's always, there's something about Cody that I like in the ring. Like I said before, I think Cody will be a world champion in the year anyway.
All right. So I think the next story that I'm going to bring in, it would be. See, there's an odd one. I don't even know if it's going to lead to a match, but I'm curious about this one. It's The Miz.
You would assume at some point it would lead to a match.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. There's a few things they could do with this, and the one that strikes in my head is in relation to what a certain WWE legend, but not yet Hall of Famer, said.
Ah, yes.
If I could have one last match, it would be with a guy like The Miz, because I think we could do something special and it would help him elevate his career. And that man is Mick Foley. That man.
If they did it before, the promos would be amazing.
Exactly. Now,
could it be an open challenge?
Could be an open challenge.
We've never seen that at Mania before.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I think The Miz comes out and says it's an open challenge. Of course, you know what the horrible thing will probably happen is if he does that, he'll probably go to Mania, make an open challenge. It'll be someone like Great Khali coming out and crush him. What would be really cool is if The Miz says, Alex, doing an open challenge right now, then Austin came out, and then done it. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, because you had that little interaction last year between them two, so maybe. I like the idea of Mick Foley. Maybe the open challenge. Foley's going to be at Mania anyway.
Yeah.
Because he's there for the Hall of Fame, and he's there for that raffle he's got on his website. Check out Ask Real Mick Foley for more information. And so there's plenty of opportunities for Mick Foley to be there. There's plenty of opportunities. But there's going to be tons of wrestlers in the backstage that wouldn't normally be there. I mean, another one that would probably get a huge pop in the South. Miami's the South, technically. Yeah. Of course, for some reason it's not classed as the South. Florida never is, really.
No.
You know? But a huge pop, I mean, he lives in the area as well. Lives in the area. He was never billed from this area, though. He's a WWE and a WCW legend. Not a Hall of Famer yet, but a man that would guarantee to get how should I put it? A bang. I would like to see DDP come out and just come out, put a quick match, diamond cutter, 1, 2, 3, walk away.
That'd be a WrestleMania moment.
There you go. But the problem being is DDP says you only have one more match with someone, it'll be Randy Orton.
Yeah, Battle of the Cutters.
Well, it wouldn't even so much that. He said he respected Randy, he helped Randy, and he thinks that him and Randy could really do something special.
Yeah.
So, but I think it'd get a huge reaction.
I think DDP could teach Randy Orton a thing or two about cutting a promo.
DDP could teach most on how to do a promo.
Yeah, you probably look, Rock.
An interesting one was not so much promos, but a person that I've just read was at FCW this weekend.
All right.
A person during the week as well was Perry Saturn.
Oh, right,
was there doing a Q&A and talking to the lads down there. So I'm guessing that will teach them how to save their money.
Yes.
Not to go down the Perry Saturn route of spending it all and getting cooked on crack.
Not a good idea. So storylines that are in place. Next one for you, mate?
Next one would be... let's just go for the... I think out of the 4 main events we've got.
Yes.
I mean, the lowest one for me, the one that's not really been hyped up much, would be Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus.
Yeah, for me, I think it's going to be a train wreck because, first of all, it's not going to be the main event of WrestleMania. The Royal Rumble winner has never had the main event spot in a long time now.
23.
There you go.
Undertaker didn't have it at 23, and that was the first one to break the mold.
There you go. So, there you go. And also, what build-up has there actually been for this match? Okay, fair enough, you had Elimination Chamber, Sheamus comes out, boom, and it's like, there was no official announcement. He just went, boom, and everyone went, yeah, that's him declaring.
And then .com said it afterwards.
Yeah, .com said it afterwards. It's like, All right, okay, fair enough. You want to do it that route, dramatis and all that jazz. But then, really, what's the build-up? I mean,
you had one promo with The Miz was involved for some fucking reason where Miz goes, "I always thought you'd be a world champion."
Oh yeah, that fucking crawling ass bastard.
And then you had you've had a little bit of interaction match-wise, and all it is Sheamus to stop them running away. That's the only interaction you've had so far.
Yeah.
And of course, in that promo with The Miz, he got bitch slapped by Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Or what I like to call is the vegan hand of God. The vegan, or maybe the vegan hand of right.
But I think part of the problem. I mean, honestly, things I'd like to see happen at Mania. I'd like to see Teddy Long come out and say, "Look, AJ, you're banned from ringside, all right, for your own protection." Because
AJ's done nothing wrong.
Yeah, but still, ban her from fucking ringside. For the love of God. Because here's the thing is, again, this is what I said about Sheamus. This is what I'd love Sheamus to do. Where Sheamus to turn around to Bryan Danielson, or Daniel Bryant, as Paul from Catchgate likes to call him, says, Daniel, it's like, I have to tell you, Big Show may have a problem running your girlfriend over, then BOOM! I've got no problem doing it. Just bro kick AJ deliberately just to say, right, she's not a problem anymore. And every single person, apart from Dan, would cheer like a motherfucker. Dan would be the perfect gentleman and run to AJ's aid.
And looked after her, yeah.
Exactly.
No ulterior motive at all.
With you, Dan, there's no such thing as ulterior motive, only taking advantage of an opportunity.
I prefer to just call it motive.
Straight up criminal terminology there. But yeah, it's had no real build-up. It's had no real kind of momentum put towards it. And the guy won the Rumble. The guy, I mean, seriously, guys.
This year's Rumble didn't mean much, though, did it?
Nah, man, fuck all. Honestly, I'll tell you this.
There wasn't much build-up for the Royal Rumble match.
Honestly, I'll tell you now, right? There will be an episode where I dedicate myself to ranting the mother shit out of Royal Rumble.
Why?
Or it'll happen.
What, this Royal Rumble?
Just Royal Rumble.
Royal Rumble was my favourite event of the year.
It is, because for me, first of all, it falls in the month of my birthday. I'm January 19th. I expect presents, people.
So it's usually around about the same day as well, though, isn't it?
Exactly. There was a time I used to say, for my birthday, my dad just booked me the Royal Rumble, when I was younger. Now I booked the Rumble myself and all the jazz, but...
And ask for more presents.
Actually, to be fair, I tend not, as much as I joke about it, I don't really care about presents these days. I just want a good time. That's all I really look for. I just want to have fun.
Arrange that.
Steady now. just because my fiance doesn't listen to the show. She won't know stuff. But no, I mean, very much, like, take next year. Next year for Royal Rumble, I'd like to be around, like, friends. I mean, I've already sent a cracket, who is Paul from Catch Kate, who thinks he's called Daniel Bryant. And we call it that way. We've already agreed that we're going to watch Royal Rumble together and all that jazz, it'll be fun.
Me and Erik Van Djismie usually do.
And hopefully what I'd love to do is, get a live stream of that set up, so we can actual live commentate on it. But I'll write about that later. But yeah, concerning Sheamus won the Royal Rumble, he's had no build-up whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I can't help but feel that's because creative are focusing on Jericho and Punk and...
I can't help but feel it's because a certain Triple H said he has to win it, not Jericho. The original plan was for Jericho to come back and win it.
Yeah.
Then Triple H pulled and did what Triple H has done for many a year for himself and everyone else he's friends with.
Yeah.
And said, no, my friend who I work out with has to become the Royal Rumble winner.
Here's the thing. You can't deny that Sheamus deserves to win the Rumble at some point.
Oh, at some point, but I didn't think he deserved it yet.
But here's the thing. Did Jericho really deserve it just because he was coming back?
I know, but...
Has he not managed to get to WrestleMania without the Royal Rumble?
I believe that CM Punk put it best, and we'll touch on it when we talk about the Punk-Jericho rivalry.
Yeah.
They didn't need anything else other than them just go Punk and go, me, you, in a ring, best in the world.
Well, let's talk about Punk and Jericho.
Oh, that's a match I am looking forward to so much.
It's been built for
that is going to be the best in the world versus the best in the world or whatever he does.
Yeah.
And to me, I would really like Jericho to sit down with me one day and tell me what exactly it is he does.
Yes.
Because is he a rock star? Is he a wrestler? Is he an author? A TV host? An awards host? a troller.
He's not a TV host.
Apparently, he's an inventor. If you don't know this, he invented Canada. He also invented trolling.
Mm-hmm.
He also invented being a rock star.
Mm-hmm.
The lion salt, which is true, he did invent lion salt. Well, he saw someone doing outside moonsault to the outside and thought, I wonder if that'll work inside. And spent 3 hours working on it in the ring in Mexico. It's explained in his book.
Yeah.
He's a very good writer. His books are very entertaining and very good to read.
He's got fucking nothing on Mick Foley.
Well, no, but Foley's got a special connection with you. And with anyone, when you read it, you feel that. But Jericho was the first one I read it and was actually going, well, yes, because it was a different story to Mick. Mick had a WCW, ECW, and whatnot. Yeah. Jericho told you what Mexico and Japan were like.
Well,
and what it was like starting in Canada and then moving around.
But talking about Jericho, the best in the world at what I do versus the best wrestler in the world.
Oh, well, to me, CM Punk is the best wrestler in the world.
Now, this was on Raw. Michael Cole and WWE, and their infinite combined wisdom, whichever could be measured, wouldn't rank highly on the system anyway, said, tweet us who you think is the best in the world by putting the name, then hashtag best in the world. And Djismie wrote on Twitter his reasons why. Basically, he accused the first undisputed champion.
He went through a whole list of titles.
Yeah. The problem I have, again, at the time, he was the best in the world.
That, once again, can be argued.
Well, yeah, okay, it can be argued, but he's my...
I'm trying to think, when he won the Undisputed Championship, Stone Cold and The Rock, he beat in one night, right?
Yes.
And fair enough, you beat them in one night, with help from, Vince McMahon. But at the time, that was 02.
Yeah.
Well, he won at 01, leading into 02. He was December, I believe.
Yeah.
Look at the roster of talent they had there.
Yeah.
Rock was still full-time.
Yeah.
Austin was still full-time.
Kurt
Angle, RVD, Booker T,
Undertaker,
Kane, Big Show,
Mr.
Perfect had just come back at the Royal Rumble of 02.
Big Boss Man.
Boss Man. You had Goldust returning, Godfather. Not putting these in the same league as best in the world, but if you look at the depth of the roster, and you're going to try and tell me that the best wrestler in the world was Jericho, no.
Well,
later on that year, Shawn Michaels returned.
Yeah, exactly. Shawn Michaels was better than Jericho, hands down.
In 03, then he disappeared and came back again.
Well,
and then look at the talent you had on the main event Rebel when he came back. Randy Orton, Edge, Christian, who disappeared at TNA at the time. Well, you had a whole new depth to the roster.
Here's my problem. It's like if I say, who is the greatest boxer in the world?
Muhammad Ali.
Right, but right now,
Manny Pacquiao.
Right, here's the problem. Someone will say, well, it's Muhammad Ali, obviously. Yeah, you also talk about all time. Who's the best in the world right now?
And then the argument is Floyd or...
Well, that's my point.
Manny Pacquiao.
You could say, oh, well, Jericho held these titles. Past tense. Held.
Best wrestler in the world right now is CM Punk.
Right
Punk is the best in the mic in the WWE, best in the ring in the WWE, and is the best connection with the fans currently in the WWE.
And, because CM Punk is being CM Punk.
Yeah. Punk stopped being a gimmick and is just being himself.
Yeah. Which is why there's very little in the way of scripting going on with him. I mean, do I agree with everything he says? No. Do I think he's a dick? Yes. He is a dick.
Well, yeah, he says he's a dick.
Yeah, but there are times where he says something and I'm like, okay, that was pretty dickish. There are sometimes I think he's, a badass. Yeah. That's the way it is. That's him being a person. There are times I don't like Djismie, and there are times that I think Djismie's awesome. There are just times. It's like any other person. There's a lot of people who think I'm a dick at times, and there are sometimes that go, "Oh, hey, you got a point." But this is a feud that's been dealt very well. They've had Jericho and Punk in the ring, talking to one another, making good points.
Oh yeah.
Read that promo with Jericho and CM Punk in the ring.
Before Daniel Bryan?
Basically the one where me and Djismie were arguing. Because I said Punk owned and he
said Jericho owned. Jericho owned him there, and I'm thinking, did anyone else see the same promo Djismie did?
Yeah.
No. Punk owned him. It was the whole thing of, that was the one where he said, if you wanted to come back, you didn't need a cheap shot me. You didn't need to do all this end of the world crap. You just needed to come into the ring, tell me, go, hey, Punk, it's me and you, WrestleMania for WWE title, best in the world versus best in the world. That's all you need.
Yeah.
That was an amazing promo.
Exactly. I personally think as well that CM Punk should win because I think it would validate everything he's done.
Yeah.
If Jericho won, I wouldn't complain. I wouldn't bitch and moan.
Well, no, because you've got the rematch.
You got the rematch clause. For me, this is no longer about the title. As well, this is about proving the best. If Jericho won, I could at least say, well, there is argument for it. And if Jericho is willing to commit to, at the very least, a part-time role, by part-time I mean similar to like the old TNA kind of schedule where maybe you appear, say,
couple of times at a house show.
Yeah, Mick Foley used to have this contract. I think he's signed a Legends contract now. He used to have a contract where he would appear like 4 pay-per-views a year. If the Rock signed a contract like that, because I know he's scheduled to be in several.
They reckon SummerSlam, and he's already announced he'll be at WrestleMania 29.
They've actually released booking that he's going to be on several Raws after WrestleMania as well.
Yeah, I heard that as well. But he's obviously going to be the one afterwards.
Yeah, but I mean, if the Rock signed a contract saying, "Oh yeah, I'll do," even if he says, "Look, I'll do your
big pay-per-views,
2 or 3 pay-per-views for the next year. I'll do your SummerSlam. I'll do your Survivor Series.
I'll do your WrestleMania.
I'll do your WrestleMania. Hell, maybe a Royal Rumble appearance." For me, that would be like, okay, that's showing a commitment. Sign a contract that puts you in some form of action, even if it's just to say, "Look, I tell you what, I'll beat Survivor Series again. I'll be at Mania again."
Well, like I say, it is supposedly he's going to have a SummerSlam match. That's what's rumored widely. No word on who it's going to be.
He's a busy man. Like, I know.
And obviously there's the press conference at WrestleMania 29 and the New York, New Jersey. It's at the Meadowlands Arena, I believe it's called. He said there, "I will be here at WrestleMania 29."
Well, the same for Jericho. Because Jericho's supposed to be Extreme Rules and shit like that, right?
He says he's not going away anyway.
Yeah, if Jericho decides that he still wants to do the band, because he's a band member, he's dedicated to fair play. I think he's shit.
But he's going to be a download in the UK. Here in the UK, he's going to do a download. He's confirmed he's going to be there. Well, I think it's June or July. Yeah. So he's not going to be at the wrestling then, is he?
If he decided, I am going to be part of doing, but I don't want to do it full time. Okay, well, can you do say full? For me, the maximum I would ask anyone that's doing part time is 4.
Oh yeah.
Because that's like a third of the year.
It's it's a nice little run.
Yeah.
You do 4 in a row and spread them out.
Hell, SummerSlam, WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, Survivor Series.
It's your big 4.
Your big 4. Just do your big 4. And hey, as Jismie would say, you've earned a spot. You're a legend at this point. You've kind of got a position.
You've paid your dues.
You've paid your dues, right?
Fucking hate that too.
Now I know, but here's the thing, right? I'm pissed off that The Rock did get a bit of a top, but
seeing as we've gone that way naturally, why don't we talk about The Rock versus John Cena?
What a fucking here's the thing. It flips on a dime. One hand, it's like, fucking awesome. And then it's like, oh, fucking die already. What was
reported? Let's talk about the, what should we call it? The notes on the wrist.
The notes on the wrist.
We'll talk about that promo, the notes on the wrist promo. It was reported that he purposely did certain things in that promo to make Cena look good.
Yes.
And wasn't expecting Cena's reply when he came out to be that.
Yeah.
And that they're widely unscripted. Them two come up with their ideas and they go for it. So in my view, The Rock come out, did his usual spiel. Twitter, trending worldwide, Kung Pao bitch, and Cena this, Cena that, Fruity Pebbles. And it was entertaining for a point. But at the same, and then when Cena comes out, and I know this is where your major beef comes, is Cena comes out, smacks The Rock with some hard truths, and then runs away like a little bitch.
Yes.
So he proved The Rock's point.
Yes.
He stood up to him, and then proved his point.
Yeah.
And then The Rock, while frazzled and stuttered and stammering, trying to get, as Cena said this week on Raw, trying to get whether it was Dwayne or The Rock back. Yeah. And then disappeared and went... And then The Rock went, if you spoke at The Rock, come, blah, 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 boom, bang, done. That was a hit and miss promo.
Yeah.
There was entertaining parts of it. There was missed parts of it.
As I said in my Twitter rant, thank you, Cena, for proving me wrong about a lot of shit. Because my beef was, Cena's in there doing what he does best, you know, and a lot of what I say about The Rock is true. The Rock did a semi-entertaining promo when he, you know, wasn't spending 20 minutes in silence. And also, the whole note on the wrist, dude, your wrists are pretty big, and, you know, to begin with. We can see the fucking notes.
It's not so much that either, it's the fact that, what really irritates me now is that I've noticed, every time The Rock's on TV now, right? Yeah. Why does he suddenly have to take a drink of water every 5 minutes?
Yeah.
He never did that back in the day.
Yeah, I mean...
All of a sudden he's stopping and getting one of the stage hands to pass him a piece. I mean, that's a horrible term for a wrestling show, a stagehand. But it's one of the guys who's hanging around to pass him a bottle of water.
It's thinking time. He needs time to think.
I'm like...
But here's my problem with The Rock in that promo. But apart from the notes of the hand, sorry for that.
Sorry.
As a promo, how the fuck is Kung Pao bitch an insult? The bitch, I understand.
I liked it.
Kung Pao bitch.
I liked it. I don't know why. I think because I like the thing where you say like normal stuff and then all of a sudden it's Kung Pao bitch. Basically,
you like some. No, I haven't had enough. But you're. I understand that, but there's a thing where taking a simple phrase and turning it into an insult can be funny because it's kind of like, oh, that's word. But that's not even wordplay. That's just you're a Kung Pao bitch.
Well, I think he didn't want to say chicken, did he?
Fine.
He didn't call him a Kung Pao chicken to start with and then move, no, you're a Kung Pao bitch.
Yeah, what's next? You're a bitch coma. You're a twat salad. You know, right, yeah, hashtag twat salad.
That probably work, actually.
Yeah. Erik Van Djismie right now. Listen to this.
I will get that work. I'll get that trending.
Twat salad. Twat salad.
One thing right now, Stanley. Twat salad trending worldwide.
But then I think that The Rock and Cena started making up for it on this week's Raw.
Oh, The Rock did.
I think
The Rock's history lessons this week were hilarious.
Mind you,
apart from one thing.
Yes.
The fourth dimension of hell.
Yeah.
The gnome.
Yes.
There's a rock gnome.
Yes. I was about to say, you get a rock gnome.
Yeah, a rock gnome, an Undertaker gnome.
Yeah.
And a woo. You know it. Zack Ryder gnome. So the best thing in the world is...
Unfortunately, that gnome ends up at the bottom of the garden by himself.
No. The Eve gnome comes back to him every now and again, which we'll touch on probably briefly anyway. But it's the fact that he goes, what fourth dimension is it? And then he turns around and goes, the guy who owns this, 40-year-old, and he's a virgin. I'm sitting going, just alienate probably a population of your audience.
Well, that's, again, my problem with The Rock is the fact that fuck it, I'm going to do my Rock Cena rant now.
Yay!
We might as well, we're moving into segment territory here, man. Right, here's my problem with Cena Rock, right?
We haven't got any segments this week.
Oh, we have.
The
Rock and Cena. Here we go. Cena respects his fan base. Doesn't listen to them, though.
No. He respects his fan base, doesn't listen to anyone else's.
No. Even then, he does respect the fan base. Think about it, right?
Yeah.
His attitude is, let the fans say what they want to say.
Okay, yeah.
But the fans are saying, Cena, we don't like your gimmick.
Don't like you.
Yeah. Well,
we respect you, we just don't like you.
The fans are begging him to do something.
Oh, yeah.
The first proper cheers he's had in a while is when he started calling The Rock out, and it's the people going, yeah, we've kind of noticed that too. We don't like you, Cena, but at least you're putting it out. If CM Punk were to say the exact same things, instant cheer.
Oh, the place would have gone nuts.
Exactly.
And they did briefly, I'll interrupt you just there, when Punk started doing the shoot, and he was haggling for his contract and all that, he kept mentioning Dwayne.
Yeah.
And he kept mentioning The Rock, and he kept insulting The Rock, and the fans cheered.
Exactly.
And this was where before Punk was red hot, or white hot as they like to call it.
Yeah.
This is where Punk was just warming up.
Exactly.
So if the Punk was to come out now and say Dwayne, instant heat.
Exactly. And basically, The Rock does not want to face CM Punk at WrestleMania because CM Punk will destroy him.
It could be SummerSlam.
Well, he'll still destroy him.
Oh, he'll probably do what William Regal did to Goldberg.
Really?
You never heard that story? Goldberg was in WCW. William Regal was put to go against Goldberg.
Yeah.
They went, "How long do you?" He goes, "How long do you have?"
Uh-huh.
They said 5 minutes. He went, "You want me to wrestle 5 minutes with that shaved ape?"
Yeah.
At which point Goldberg he goes, "Well, not so much wrestle. Just don't make him look bad. Make him look really good."
Uh-huh.
And they went, "Well, what's the finish?" He goes, "Oh, well, you're gonna go for a move. He's gonna reverse it. Spear your jackhammer, done." Goes, "That's it." He goes, yeah. Rhea went, all right, I don't think so. Tied him up into a little knot, stretched in every chance he could get, basically made Goldberg wrestle.
Yes.
At which point they went, no, I don't think so. And his ever brilliant mind of Eric Bischoff went, bye-bye, William Regal. You won't work anywhere else. You're not that good of a talent. A certain Vince McMahon picked him up after that point.
Yeah.
And he became the good winning ambassador.
Yeah.
So that's the basic thing for...
And not only that, but Vince and William Regal actually went on in a bit of interview to talk about how great Vince McMahon had been and all this stuff. But here's my... Go back to John Cena and The Rock, right? John Cena doesn't listen to his to the fan base. He doesn't listen to the people. They're saying, Cena, do something. Fucking do something. Turn heel, or at least do something to make us respect you as a face. Do something.
I don't think it's not much the respect problem, it's the like.
Well, again, but that's my point. I mean...
We want something new. That's basically what it is. Cena's gotten stale, and he's got comfortable being stale.
But he respects... the fans' opinion. The Rock, if you're not cheering for him, he'll insult the shit out of you, right?
But that's always been The Rock.
Yeah, but my point is, right, it's not just The Rock being The Rock. It's Dwayne being that. You know, he just doesn't like the motherfucker. I get your point, right? Heels get into this all the time, but The Rock's trying to be a face here. Yeah,
but The Rock is always on that borderline of, you like me, fair enough. You don't like me, I'll insult.
But here's the thing. It's not that the fans don't like him. It's just the fact that they happen to like John Cena. I could like both John Cena and The Rock.
Well, an interesting part this week on .com. They showed after Raw.
Yeah.
And there was a whole family in the front row, decked out in the John Cena gear. Yeah. And The Rock went and had a little fun with the kids and a little fun with that. He even got to the point where he got the crowd chanting the littlest kid's name.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where he was proving that it wasn't just because you were a John Cena fan or if you were a Rock fan. He didn't care. It was him trying to interact with the fans.
Right.
Which is nice to see from a guy who suddenly came back to the business and always consistently, every time he's in...
Stop doing things and come play with me!
That's my iPad, randomly.
What the fuck?
That was the new Simpsons game, tapped out. Free on the Apple Store.
Alright.
Apparently it's telling me I should go play with him, because I haven't played for a while.
Okay.
That was random, and I apologise, because usually it's Eric being the unprofessional one, and I usually ride him. Telling he's
we'll just move on from that.
Right.
But basically,
do a wrap up the John Cena Rock?
John Cena Rock. Ultimately, it comes down to this. Cena isn't listening to his fans.
Mm-hmm.
He isn't listening to the people who want change. The Rock isn't respecting the fans as much as I'd like him to, because, I don't know, in many ways, it doesn't feel like The Rock is putting in the effort that's required. If he is putting effort into his promos,
I think he put his effort into the history ones. That was
that was pretty cool. But if his in-ring promos are him at his best...
That's the problem, is that his in-ring promo is that he's doing it deliberately to make Cena look better.
Yeah, but you've got to still make yourself...
Because he wants the crowd 50. But to be honest, he's getting a reaction from the fans. He's going to get a good reaction, a cheer, whatever happens in Miami.
Mm.
So, it's wise of him to, shall we say, to try and make Cena look as strong as possible.
Yeah, but...
And what I'm liking is that there's been no physical interaction.
Oh yeah, the no-touch rule always works in my opinion.
It always works because it makes that... I mean, sure, they had a little bit last year, but it's been a year now since they touched... Survivor Series is, 6 months?
Yeah.
So, but still, you've had a good period of time where there's been no...
That was like a rock bottom.
But still, there's been no contact from either one of them. And I guarantee you that we go to Mania.
Yeah.
The Rock comes out, huge reaction.
Yeah.
Cena comes out, huge reaction. Whether it's boos or cheers or the usual mix.
Yeah.
And as soon as they lock up, if they lock up, or someone throws a punch, you're going to get a pop.
Yeah.
I'm interested in seeing what pop does Cena get when he hits The Rock. Because you've not seen Cena hit The Rock.
Yeah.
You've seen a rock bottom and a people's elbow and a spine buster.
You've seen an FU. Well, not actually adjustment.
Well, you've seen that. But what you didn't see, you've never seen him
punch him.
Go for it. He's just when he's had one opportunity, he's done it.
I'll tell you what the biggest heat of the night's going to be. The absolute biggest heat of the night is when they're in the middle of the ring and The Rock is locked in the STF.
That is going to... It's a good job there's not a roof on that building.
Yeah.
Because that would go... I mean, I know the arena. The arena's the Sun Life Arena in Miami, Florida. It's the home of the Miami Dolphins.
Yes.
And it's one of the loudest American football arenas, like intense atmospheres.
Mm-hmm.
So that is going to be a really good environment for it. I mean, usually you lose a lot of the sound at open air. And look at WrestleMania 24.
Yeah.
You knew the crowd was going nuts at certain points, but you couldn't really feel it. This one you will be able to feel.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting one for me. But let's do it right now.
Yeah.
Who wins?
John Cena.
Cena goes over?
Cena goes over.
Why?
First of all, it's going to be one huge fucking moment.
Mm-hmm.
And Vince McMahon likes his moments. Mm-hmm. Not only that, they need John Cena to stay in the company. The Rock, well, eventually, it has the ability to go, I'm gone. John Cena, right now, needs the WWE. Especially with all the personal stuff going on right now. WWE's the only thing with him which is a constant. To have him beat The Rock, doesn't matter. Nobody's going to like it. Mm-hmm. No one's really going to like it.
Oh,
yeah, fuck yeah. I mean, but think about this.
Well, Cena, there are Cena fans.
But think about it. Cena becomes the guy that beat The Rock at WrestleMania. He's going to be hated more so than ever.
Not just that. I'm with you. I think Cena will go over. My reasoning is this.
Mm-hmm.
When was the last time you had a match like this?
It was Hogan and The Rock.
Who went over?
The Rock.
The young guy went over.
Yeah.
The guy who stayed in the company for a longer period of time went over. For me, that is the reason why you put someone over.
Yeah.
You put him. I mean, that's probably the reason The Rock came back in the first place was we're going to have this big epic match.
Yeah.
We're going to pay you all this money, whatever. But the reason I think was for him was that he went back and said, right, well, what are we going to do? And he probably was given a few options of what could happen. And I believe The Rock's the type of guy. He's a wrestling business in his heart.
Yes.
His family is the business. I believe The Rock knows the right thing to do is to put Cena over.
Yeah.
That's why he's trying so hard to make him look good.
Yeah, I think that does make a lot of sense. I rail on The Rock quite a lot because he's not living up to the expectation.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That's my issue. If it's deliberate, then good job, you fucking fooled me. I will say that. If it's all deliberate, you fooled me, good job. You know, you did your you made your job well. But,
and now...
Yes?
Now is the moment we get to talk about the real main event.
Yes.
Now we get to talk about the most important match in WrestleMania.
Yes.
Now it's not a title match.
No.
It's not a Cena versus Rock.
No, it's not.
It's not even a match where Erik Van Djismie will be caring much.
No.
Even though he's going to go watch it live.
Yes.
The only reason he'll care is because it's Hell in a Cell.
That's right.
And the fact that he'll be hoping that Undertaker loses so that he can go to me and say, it's an unlucky charm. Of course, we're talking about Triple H versus The Undertaker. The streak.
Yes.
Does it go to 20-0? Hell in a Cell with Shawn Michaels, HBK, your icon.
Yep.
Your main event.
My main event.
Your showstopper.
Yep.
Your Mr. Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Your Mr. WrestleMania.
Yep.
As the special referee.
Yep.
I'm going to go straight to the point.
Yes.
Who does he screw?
He screws Triple H.
Why?
Well, think about all this time, Triple H has said, Triple H has always had this beef with Shawn about which one of them is the best. Recently, Triple H snapped and accepted the match because of Shawn Michaels. Not only that, but he even said to Shawn's face, I'm doing this because you could get jobs. Now, here's the thing. Two things could happen here. Either one, Shawn goes, I'm assuming he does screw Triple H over. It'll happen to one or two. It'll be the one because Shawn just goes, you want to piss on me? I'll piss right on you. Or two, Triple H just becomes that bit closer to beating Undertaker. And Shawn goes, fuck that. Bang! If I can't beat him, you can't.
Well, as Shawn Michaels said, it's better to be pissed off than pissed on.
Exactly. So I think... Now, of course, there's also...
Now, this match, for me, is my match every year at WrestleMania. I worry about the Undertaker streak.
Yeah.
Every time it comes... Well, I say every year at WrestleMania. I didn't worry when Mark Henry was there.
No.
Didn't worry when Giant Gonzalez was there. I didn't worry about King Kong Bundy.
I didn't worry about Big Show.
I worried about Randy Orton because it was a Legend Killer role.
Yeah.
And that was the first one I really worried about.
Yeah.
I worried about...
You know the first time I worried about his streak? was Shawn Michaels. That
See,
was
21 I worried, 23 I worried because that was a match where you came close to losing twice against Batista. 24 Edge because they'd already done so many things with Edge and Taker screwing around. And
what about when it was Undertaker and Ric Flair? And then Anderson came with that spine buster.
Well, no, because it was never mentioned about the streak, really. It was never really a thing until afterwards where Taker put his 10 fingers up.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, but did I worry he was going to lose? Not really, because I couldn't see Arn being the guy to get the win. I couldn't see it leading to a leg
that
lock.
was an amazing spine buster.
Well, Arn
it's
the best in the business, isn't it?
It's called the spine buster.
It's why Robert Roode now uses a double R and Triple H uses it as an homage.
Yeah.
But I would have, let's say I would have 23, 24, 25, I couldn't watch. That match with Shawn Michaels is the most perfect wrestling match and story you will ever see. And for half of it, I was hid behind my hat going, I will not watch it, no. And when he hit him with that sweet chin music and covered him, and they went 1, 2, no! I was sitting going, Taker, don't do this to me, you're killing me.
Yeah.
And then it got even worse when he kicked out of that tombstone.
Yeah.
I went, oh shit, he's done it. This is the year. It's coming to an end.
Because he kicked out the tombstone.
Yeah, he kicked out the tombstone. I went, oh no, this is the end. 26 was even. I didn't really worry so much at 26 because it was the streak versus career, and I'm thinking, well, Sean's going to retire.
Yeah.
And then there was a couple of moments in it though when I wasn't quite sure. I was like, wait a minute.
Me and Crackett were the same. Me and Crackett were like, oh God, it's going to end. Oh, no.
And then in 27,
Triple H
laid him out, and I'm sitting going, the motherfucker's ego's got too big, and he's going to take it out.
Yeah.
He's going to do it. He's going to end this. This year though. There's a 4-lettered word that's not even spelled correctly. Might I say?
Yeah.
That begins with a K and ends with a Q. That has got me very worried.
The Click.
The Click. Now you're in a Hell in a Cell. You're in with the Dead Man. That should be big enough build up.
Yeah.
But for some reason, someone's very close to Vince McMahon, maybe.
Yes.
And maybe the McMahon family.
Yes.
Has said, no, what we need Shawn. No, you fucking don't, Triple H.
Just be glad Kevin Nash is in there.
Oh, I'm worried because Kevin's probably going to be in the Hall of Fame. The Four Horsemen are there.
Yeah.
God knows that he'll come down. He couldn't get the job done either.
Would it be awesome if you ended up having like Ric Flair, Kevin Nash, all the people that couldn't beat the Undertaker?
No, it would be freaking awesome.
Just be like, Djismie would be fucking shooting all over.
Kevin Nash would be suddenly walks. Get someone to get a car and drive him down the fucking
road. What that guy suddenly does is tear his quad. True fact, he wants true fact, he wants to tear his quad whilst tearing his quad. Yeah.
Kevin Nash appears, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Ric Flair, who probably will walk faster than Kevin Nash, turns up. Big Show walks down after losing to Cody Rhodes and is really pissed off. Suddenly appear, and I'm going, oh, it's fucking over. They're going to do him. They're going to hold him down and pin him and go, whether you like it or not, you're lost. I can't put this match is going to be a nervous wreck. It's going to be an entertaining match.
Yeah, but my question is, what are you going to do if the Undertaker wins? You're going to pop like a
if the Undertaker wins,
yeah.
I would do what I do every year, and we'll be on mute.
Yeah.
Because it's 4 o'clock in the morning over here. I will be on mute, jumping around like a little 2-year-old who's just found out what a bouncing ball does. I will be like an excited little dog who's just been given a new toy.
Yeah.
I will be going nuts if Undertaker wins. Problem being,
yes,
you may never see me again if Undertaker loses.
No. Well, I honestly think that Undertaker will win. I don't think the Undertaker will ever lose at WrestleMania. Do I want Triple H to win? No. Did I want him to win last year? Yes.
Why last year?
I felt it was Undertaker's time, and I felt Triple H
would not be better to end on Odo.
Yeah, but the emotions running into the match. Yeah. Naturally, I found myself wanting Triple H to win. This year, I want Undertaker to win.
20-0, baby.
Actually, to be honest, I want the Undertaker to win fairly, and have Shawn Cole down the middle. And then when people say, "Well, how can you say you knew who you were going to win?" Shawn Michaels just goes, "Well, because I know the two people in the match. I knew the Undertaker was going to win because he always wins."
Did a big swerve.
But I thought you were going to
the non-swerve.
Yeah, the biggest swerve. The biggest swerve you could do is a non-swerve. Nobody told Vince Russo this.
No one told Paul Heyman either.
Yeah,
Everything's a fucking work.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about Mania there. We'll quickly run through the other matches.
Well, let's go quickly through it. We've called them too.
Cody
Rhodes, Big Show.
Big Show. I think this is the payoff.
I'm the same. I think Big Show gets the IC title and comes a Triple Crown and the Grand Slam champion in one fell swoop. Thank you for the stuff, Erik Van Djismie.
Yes. Hashtag thanks, Djismie.
Yes, we've mentioned your name again.
We mentioned Parton's name.
Then we've got the World Heavyweight title.
Sheamus.
I think Daniel Bryan sneaks a win.
Possibly.
Just because I want to hear the epic yes at WrestleMania, and I want Jismie to be really upset.
Yeah. That's another partial match.
WWE title match. Punk versus Jericho.
I think Punk wins.
I think Jericho might take it.
Alright.
I want Punk to win. I think Jericho will.
Okay. The Rock and John Cena.
Want Rock, I think Cena.
I want Cena to win, and I think John Cena will win.
And then, of course, we've just done that. One taker, knee taker.
Yeah. A match we haven't talked about because it hasn't been officially announced, but we know it's going to happen. The GM versus GM match.
In whatever space that would be.
Yeah.
I think it'll either be one representative of each, so it'll probably be Otunga and Morella. Or...
They'll not give Otunga a WrestleMania match, surely.
Hell, he's Johnny's boy. He's his Uncle Tom.
Surely team versus team.
It would make the logical step, because then I believe, if I'm thinking about this logically, you can either 6 or 8 man.
Well,
6 man, I would think, would put his way of looking at the minute, because you've got... Well, actually, no, 8 man. 8 man, because on Team Johnny, Team Ace...
Otunga...
No. You're going to go with the ones that came out, right?
Well, not just the ones that came out, yeah, but...
For 8 man, I would go Otunga,
which
gives the WrestleMania match. Zigzag and Swag.
Mm-hmm.
Drew McIntyre.
Yes.
Obviously, on SmackDown, Drew was just...
If you want to make a
10-man,
you can throw the Miz in as well.
Throw the Miz in. And then on Team Teddy, Team Long, Kofi Kingston, Santino Morella. And then it's difficult to find the rest of Teddy's team.
No, not necessarily.
Ezekiel Jackson maybe will get a match.
Probably because he's supposed to be Long's boy. But what's it called? R-Truth.
Truth, and that makes sense with the Kofi Kingston.
Yeah.
See, that's the 8-man tag.
What would be funny is if they went 10-10, and then Theodore Long said, "Excuse me."
Theodore Long said that.
Yeah. If Johnny S. goes, "Hey, excuse me, you've got one extra man in your team." Like, no, we've got Santino Morella, Ezekiel Jackson, R-Truth, Kofi Kingston, and whoever. I demand Ezekiel Jackson be thrown out of this match. On what grounds, player? R-Truth's tag team partner is also in this match. What, Kofi Kingston? No, Little Jimmy. He's not real. Well, I could see him. R-Truth goes, Little Jimmy's real! It's like, no, shut up, R-Truth, shut up!
You got Johnny Ace going, I can see him, and Jimmy and Truth going, Jimmy says you can't see him.
Then John Cena comes out. John Cena says,
We just get a quick thing, and John Cena just goes, gimmick infringement. Gimmick infringement.
And then all of a sudden, because you know what would happen, because of his look, Dolph Ziggler would end up getting pinned by the Jimmy. And the rest is going, and Dolph's like, someone was holding me down, man. I don't know what it was.
God damn it. It was God.
Oh wait, I've just realised it all. No, not Little Jimmy isn't God. Little Jimmy drove the Hummer.
It was Kidman.
Kidman and Little Jimmy are the same. It's a new gimmick.
Someone wants to tell fucking Tommy Wilson that.
One of these days, Paul let his hair just appear. It's like, it was me, R-Truth. It was me all along.
Vince McMahon just sits and goes, gimmick infringement.
Yeah, he'll go to heaven and just go, hell. They got to hell, just Satan. Come on, dude. What's up?
Come on, it's about time. You come on, move. You've had this long enough.
But, yeah, so that's Mania, folks, ladies and gentlemen, total markouts of all ages. So, as we said, Erik Van Djismie can't be with us today.
Sadly.
So he'll be listening to the show. So far, disagree with most of what we've said.
Criticise him.
But
counting the times we mentioned his name.
In honour of Erik Van Djismie,
Yep.
I'm taking over hashtag Rock Facts this week. Oh yeah. But the thing is,
What was that?
I went, oh yeah.
I can do that.
You love it.
Oh yeah!
Oh, sorry. But, you see, Djismie often has trouble coming up with rock facts for the show.
Well, he's a busy man.
He's a very busy man. You know, he works, you know, he has a job which demands a lot of his time, and he does a great job for what we hear. You know? So, basically, I thought, well, how hard is it to come up with rock facts? So I give myself half an hour to come as many as possible. And I came up
This
with...
is something we would also like you to submit to Tumblr if you have already.
Yeah. I came up with 13 in the space of half an hour. Originally, this was called hashtag Rock Facts because Djismie is a lazy twat. But in light of recent events, I would like to say hashtag Rock Facts in honour of Djismie.
Being a lazy twat.
Yes. So I'm just going to run through these, and if you have any of your own rock facts, just submit them to totalmarkout.tumblr.com.
And click the rock fact tab.
Exactly. So, these are my rock facts. Number 1. When the fans chanted Die Rocky Die, they didn't hate The Rock, they just wanted him to rise on the third day to fulfill the prophecy. Number 2. Spontaneous combustion happens when people are actually able to smell what The Rock is cooking. According to some victims, it smells faintly of apple pie.
Well, pie at least, anyway.
Yeah. I'm surprised he got away with cream pie on a fucking... That was impressive. WWE saved over $39 million on their electricity bills by powering the arenas with the people's elbow. When it can't get an erection, Viagra takes The Rock. The reason people chant Rocky to both The Rock and Rocky Balboa is because they are in fact the same person, but you can't tell because of The Rock's epic acting skills. The reason why Erik Van Djismie can only think above one rock fact every 2 weeks is because once he comes up with one, the epicness of The Rock puts him in a 14-day coma. Alright, Djismie. Santino Marella will never be WWE champion because there are some miracles even The Rock cannot perform.
Oh.
It is impossible for The Rock to die. If he is somehow killed, he would simply come back with a new gimmick. The Rock...
Lex Cabana lives!
The Rock invented religion to hide his godhood, so people wouldn't bother him with their prayers. The Rock can never join TNA because if he and Sting shared the same space for 4 to 5 minutes, the universe would explode due to their combined awesomeness.
That one's for you.
The Rock isn't a bad actor, he just makes bad movies so other actors won't feel inadequate. The Rock is never nominated for an Oscar, as it would be unfair to the other contestants. And finally, when the dictionary was invented, The Rock had to check if any spelling mistakes. And those are this week's Rock Facts.
Ooh, yeah.
So yes, Djismie, that was for you. And now that you know how it's done, you're welcome. I
hope that cheered you up.
Yeah.
I really do.
I am picking on an ill man. It's quite unfair, really. But, you know, Triple H did it to blooming Eugene all the time, so... But, yeah, I mean... So, I do have another segment coming up, but first I want you all to adjust your ears and focus in on the Geek King himself as he runs through...
What to watch? It's rather simple. This time I went through the WrestleMania cast...
Yes.
So to speak, the roster, the players involved.
Yes.
Decided I'd look and see what we could look at. And, well, one match came to me straight away. This year, WrestleMania.
Yes.
You've got The Undertaker involved, you've got The Rock involved, you've got Triple H, and I dare say at some point, Kane will be involved as well.
Yes.
So I went to 2000. I looked back towards that period of time. I looked at the King of Ring 2000, a 6-man tag that I believe the stipulation was... If any of Team Rock, Kane or Rock, Undertaker even, not Rock twice, although that would explain its epicness.
Yes.
Got the pinfall, they would become the WWE, or then WWF champion.
Yes.
The Rock did this, defeating the team of Triple H, Shane McMahon, and that well-known, excellent wrestler, former WWF and ECW champion, Vince McMahon. The match itself is very well done. The build-up to it beforehand on the Raws and SmackDowns beforehand are excellent. Particularly when Linda McMahon starts twisting and turning the knife to the evil husband character at the time,
Yes.
Vince McMahon and the McMahon Helmsley faction, and decides to put them all in this match. One thing to watch for in this match.
Yes.
A certain chokeslam from The Undertaker to Shane McMahon that involves Shane taking a trip from the top rope straight through the announcer's table.
Yes.
It is an epic moment and proves that once again, for some god-awful reason, Vince likes to harm his children. Vince likes to put them in a ring with a 7-foot monster and say, do what you want with them.
I mean, I don't mind harming Vince's children. Does that include spanking Stephanie McMahon, by the way? Because that's what my statement is hinged on.
I can go with that.
Excellent.
I have another, and part two of this week's You Gotta Watch is quite simple. People have been wondering what the John Cena effect at WrestleMania will be like to the crowd.
Oh, yes.
And I went for my theory of hate.
Yeah.
You're in the hometown of the opponent. You're getting a lot of old school fans going back to it. A lot of fans are making the trip just to see The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to go for what I could describe as the most hateful crowd I'd ever seen towards a superstar. I'm not talking about Chicago at Money in the Bank, because that was not so much hate as pro CM Punk.
Yes.
No, I've gone to 2006. Once again in June, I went to the extreme. ECW One Night Stand. Rob Van Dam catches in his Money in the Bank to face John Cena for the WWE title. You have never seen a crowd not want to watch someone wrestle as much as you've seen an ECW crowd chant, "You can't wrestle, you're still shit, same old shit. When he did a new move, you still can't wrestle." And then when he threw his t-shirt into the crowd, throw it back. And now this happens now and again, and you still get the t-shirt thrown back.
See, what I love about that match was it's one of the biggest pops Edge ever got.
Oh, when Edge came out and he'd just been booed out the building.
Yeah.
Half an hour ago.
Yeah.
And because of the way he pinned Bjorn McGinnicuddy after defeating the heart and soul and the legacy of ECW, Tommy Dreamer and Terry Funk. He comes out, he spears Cena through a table, reveals himself because he was wearing a motorbike helmet, and decided, and it popped. It popped. Yeah. Why? Because we didn't like John Cena then.
Thank you, Edge.
Thank you, Edge. And then the greatest piece of commentary I've ever heard of ECW's voice, Joey Styles. When he looks at Rob Van Dam and Rob's going, "What the hell happened?" He tells Rob, "Pin him, kid. We'll take it."
Yeah, we'll take it.
We'll take it. And then Paulie comes down, they hit the 5-star. Rob, pin him. 1, 2, 3. You've never heard an ovation so intense from a crowd. And there were signs in that crowd that said, "If Cena wins, we riot." And that was that wasn't a threat, that was a guarantee.
Yeah.
If Cena had walked out that building was going on light.
Yeah.
They were going to burn that sumbitch to the ground.
Yeah, because that was a true ECW crowd.
Well, yeah. That was half the problem of the new ECW, which I touched on a few episodes back.
Yeah.
But that is intense hate.
Yeah.
You won't get that in Miami.
No.
There's not enough people for that. There's too many people, for that to happen in Miami. The most you'll get is maybe a boo.
Yeah.
You'll get some boo, maybe a little bit of chanting, anti-Cena chanting. But there's going to be too many mixtures of fans, too many different things. You're not going to get that intense hate.
No.
You're not going to get intense love for The Rock either.
Yeah.
I mean, the loudest Rock I've ever heard would have been during the Attitude Era. Well, not even the Attitude Era. Maybe 18 was one of the loudest pops The Rock got. But then as soon as Hogan came out, it changed almost instantaneously.
Yeah.
That's not what the crowd was going to be like either.
Yeah.
Now, my final part for this week's You Gotta Watch isn't so much a part as an entire storyline.
All right. This should be fun.
And speaking of ECW,
yeah,
I went old school.
Okay.
I went old school extreme, and I picked one of the most brilliantly written storylines ever.
Oh, I've got to hear this one.
Raven versus the Sandman.
Right.
Now, the whole thing was Raven was just coming and was there. This was between 95 and 97 for those of you who want to go back and watch it. Raven Not only did Raven play the psychopathic brainwasher perfectly, and the fact that he was so just didn't give a fuck about anything, and he was so idealistic when it came to stuff. You know, the Raven gimmick was a perfect gimmick anyway when he started it.
Yeah.
But the fact that he then stole the Sandman's wife and brainwashed the Sandman's child to dress like Raven and act like Raven and stand there in front of his daddy and say, why do you drink and why do you smoke? And the fact that it was all supposedly to reimagine how Raven's childhood was because Sandman was the image of his father. Now, this gets notoriety amongst fans for one particular image. And that would be the night that Kurt Angle turned up in the Land of Extreme in 1996. He just won his gold medal.
Yeah.
And he was there to see professional wrestling. He did a bit of commentary on the Taz match. And there's a moment that made him walk out and say he'd never work with Paul Heyman or ECW. That was a lie later on in life.
Yeah.
But we all know how Kurt Angle's moral round went.
Yeah.
And that would be when Raven decided to crucifix Sandman. And a full-blown crucifixion as well, with pieces of wood and whatnot. And you've never seen such shock and awe on a crowd. There wasn't a noise. Stevie Richards said perfectly when I was shooting the view, we weren't getting booed, we weren't getting cheered. People were just shocked at what we were doing. This is the hardcore icon, the leader of Extreme, the Sandman, the man that you looked at and looked for. And Raven had destroyed him. It was unheard of. What was great about this, though, as well, was while this was going on with Sandman, Raven was still feuding with Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah.
And the intensity of having Tommy, Sandman, and Raven are mixed up in one group. And then you throw in the franchise got mixed involved to try and ruin Tommy's life. And you had something that was very it didn't happen. It was unknown. In WWE, it didn't happen. You never mixed four or three storylines together. In WCW, you couldn't afford to do that because you didn't know what one storyline was.
Yeah.
But in ECW, Paul Heyman was sitting there thinking these up years at a time. He would have these stretched out into what would happen and contingency plans for when people fucked off to WCW to get a paycheck.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things. And the fact is, you've never seen Raven as a better heel than he was during that time. You've never seen Sandman or Tommy as a better face than he were during that time. And the matches themselves were, with Sandman, it was probably the best matches Sandman ever put on. The Tommy and Raven matches were some of the most emotional in ECW. Particularly considering Tommy never got a win for the last night of Raven's last night. Yeah. Never got a pin for 3 years. 3 years, never got a pinfall victory. But at the same point, that is my final you gotta watch. So to wrap it up, go watch King of Ring 2000 main event and watch the build-up for that. Go watch your One Night Stand and see the most hateful crowd I've ever seen. And go watch ECW just to see what storyline-based wrestling should be in the world and the business that we live in. So that's Geek Kings you gotta watch.
Excellent stuff. Now, our last segment of the show, I believe, is going to be my stuff I was going to do last episode, but I'm going to do this episode. The stats probably lie. Now, a lot of people like to question who is the greatest world champion of all time. And a lot of people like to rely on facts facts, of course, but statistics to kind of prove the point. The problem is, statistics aren't a good source for measuring this.
Particularly in professional wrestling.
Exactly. So, I decided to prove that the stats probably aren't the best way to choose your champion by getting every single world champion from the following companies. WWE, WCW, Extreme Championship Wrestling, TNA Impact, and NWA TNA. So these are the big ones, okay? Now, I judge a world champion, and doing this, I decided to go with Djismie's idea of a world champion by going for the WWE Championship, World Heavyweight Championship, WCW Championship, Extreme Championship Wrestling Champion, the TNA NWA World Champion, and the TNA World Champion as it is now. Now, I've got the top lists for all of them. And I'll quickly explain how the mathematics of this worked. All superstars were ranked 3 methods. The first time they were ranked by how many title reigns they had. The second time was their longest reign, and then the third time was the most number of combined reigns. They were assigned points depending upon where they went in the ranking list, and then those points would put them in an order of top to bottom. This was done for all the world championships.
So top point, what was the top point?
So basically, the person that had the most points was someone who would have like the most title reigns.
No, on your list, you said assigned to points according to where they fell on the list. So what was the maximum points given?
The maximum points given. Well, in terms of, say, the WWE Championship, okay, you would have someone that ended up with a combined total of 83 points. Now, it's hard for me to go back and tell you how many points they got per whatever, because that would change depending on how many people were actually in the list, where the rankings fell. Because basically, it had to be made as fair as possible.
Yeah.
Then what happened was, at the very, very end, I took all the superstars and I made every single World Championship as if they were one title, called, let's say, the Universal Wrestling Championship, right? So I assumed that every world title that they held was one world title. So you count how many reigns they had as a world champion, what their longest reign as a world champion was, and what their longest combined reigns were. So assuming that the WWE Championship are all the same thing. And that way you could find a fair way of ranking them. Now I'm going to go through the individual ones first, the individual titles, and then I'll go to the top one. Now, remember, this is not my opinion. This is not me saying I think these people are the top. This is me telling you what the stats tell you. And remember, the show's called The Stats Probably Lie.
Segment's called The Stats Probably Lie.
Yes. So do not send me your complaints, because it's not my fault. It's mathematics.
It would be nice to hear off you.
Yeah. Complain about the mathematics all you want, and tell me who you think your top ones are.
Yeah.
So, in the WWE, here are your top 33 WWE champions. At number 33, Andre the Giant and Rey Mysterio tie.
The biggest and the littlest champions.
Yeah. At number 32, it's Kane.
Big Red Monster.
At 31, it's Vince McMahon.
He owns that business.
At 30, it's Buddy Rogers.
Nature Boy.
At 29th, it's Ivan Koloff.
Russian Bear.
At 28th, it's Rob Van Dam.
The whole effing show.
27th, the Iron Sheik.
Fuck you!
26th is Batista. 25th is Jeff Hardy.
Where's the door?
24th is Mick Foley.
Bang, bang.
23rd is Sergeant Slaughter,
Return.
The Big Show.
Well.
And Alberto Del Rio.
You already knew that.
At 22nd, it's Psycho Sid.
Pardon?
At 21st, it's Chris Jericho and Ric Flair.
Break the walls. Woo!
At 20, it's Edge.
You think you know me.
19th, CM Punk and Sheamus.
Straight as Irish.
At 18th, it's Eddie Guerrero.
Viva la raza.
17th is The Miz.
I came to play.
16th is The Undertaker.
Dong.
At 15th, it's Kurt Angle.
Apparently he gets drunk a lot on Twitter.
14th is Brock Lesnar and The Rock.
UFC and Hollywood.
13th is John Bradshaw Layfield.
He lives in Bermuda.
12th is Yokozuna.
Banzai!
11th is The Ultimate Warrior.
I'm not even going over there.
10th is Billy Graham and Triple H.
Superstar and Triple H.
9th is HBK Shawn Michaels.
Well, one of the best ever in the ring.
Yeah, number 8 is Diesel and Randy Orton.
Hey!
7th is Stone Cold Steve Austin.
What?
6th is Randy Savage.
Ooh, yeah!
5th is Bret the Hitman Hart.
Best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be.
4th is Pedro Morales.
I actually have no stats for him again.
3rd is Bob Backlund.
First ever man that's screwed.
2nd is Bruno Sammartino and John Cena.
So the cornerstone of the WWE for the early years and the dickhead who's in charge now.
Yep. And number 1, Hulk Hogan.
Porn star Hulk Hogan.
Oh, fuck off. Right. Now we have the World Heavyweight Championship. The first World Championship reign was obviously Triple H. So, these are your top 21 World Champions. At number 21, it's Dolph Ziggler and The Big Show.
It's Perfection Giant.
20 is Shawn Michaels.
Well, once again, the greatest ever to be in the ring.
19th, Jeff Hardy.
Once again, where the fuck's the drugs, dude?
18, Christian.
Go!
17, The Great Khali.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
16, Daniel Bryan.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
15th is Jack Swagger.
Swagger.
Yes.
Jack Swagger.
The All-American American. 14, Kurt Angle.
Apparently, he didn't get drunk and go on Twitter, it was just hacked.
13th is Chris Jericho.
Break the walls down!
Number 12, Goldberg.
Goldberg.
Number 11,
Goldberg.
Number 11, Mark Henry.
Somebody's gonna get their ass kicked.
Number 10, John Cena.
You can't see me.
9, Randy Orton.
Hey, I hear voices.
8, CM Punk.
Straight edge superstar.
7, Booker T.
Booker!
6, Rey Mysterio.
619.
Number 5, Chris Benoit and Kane.
I'm not touching Benoit. But Kane apparently had sex with a doll or some shit. I think that's what the Katie Vick angle was about.
And both have a connection to Hellfire.
Apparently so.
4th is The Undertaker.
Once again, Hellfire is involved there as well.
Yeah. 3rd, Edge.
You think you know me.
Number 2, Batista.
And
And number 1, Triple H.
the King of Kings.
Yes.
The Reaver Assassin.
Yeah, that guy.
The game.
Alright, now we're going to move on to the Extreme Championship Wrestling.
Here we go.
The first champion is considered to be Shane Douglas for this.
Yeah, okay.
Number 26, Ezekiel Jackson.
Apparently he's domination. Something to do with that.
Yeah. 25th, Masato Tanaka.
Roaring elbow.
24th, Sabu.
He's homicidal,
Yeah.
genocidal, suicidal, death-defying maniac.
23rd, Rob Van Dam.
Oh, he's always on high.
22nd, I'm going to say this, Jerry Lynn and Vince McMahon.
So you're telling me the new effing show is tied to the guy who owns the business?
Yes.
Wow.
21, Mikey Whipwreck.
Never hit an offensive move into Stone Cold into ECW.
20th, Bam Bam Bigelow.
Bam! Bam!
19th, Tommy Dreamer.
Ah, Tommy.
18th, Steve Corino.
King of old school.
17, Chavo Guerrero.
Chavito Heat!
16, John Morrison.
Hey!
15th, Mark Henry.
Somebody's getting their ass kicked.
14th, Kane.
Well, we've said hi to Hellfire before, so we'll do that.
Yeah, 13, Rhino.
Go! Go! Go!
12, Jack Swagger.
Succotats.
11th, Terry Funk.
He retired in 1971, 1985, 1996, 1998, 2004, and 2006, and then again last year.
And we give Ric Flair a hard time.
Well,
Number 10, Matt Hardy.
yeah, that was a mistake.
He likes grapes. 9, CM.
Jesus.
9 is CM Punk.
Cult of personality.
8, The Big Show and Mike Awesome. Not touching that one, are you?
I'll go with the Big Show on that one. And did you know he's the world's largest athlete?
Yeah. 7th,
Mike Awesome, he was that 70s guy.
Yeah. 7th, Bobby Lashley.
He's bald.
6th, Just Incredible.
He's white.
5th, Christian.
Go.
4th, Taz.
It's Taz! It's Taz! It's Taz! Old school Taz! FTW Taz! Alright, Joey, chill.
With 1 0. 3rd, The Sandman.
Where's me beer?
2nd, Raven.
Nevermore.
And 1st, Shane Douglas.
Franchise.
Now we're going to go with the NWA TNA. Only 9 people in this one. Are you ready? Number 9, Rhino.
I already did the go bit.
8, Sting.
Showtime!
7th, Ken Shamrock.
He invented the ankle lock.
6th, Abyss.
He didn't.
5th, Raven.
Nevermore.
4th, Ron Killings.
Is that the truth?
That's the truth.
What's
3rd,
up?
Christian.
Go!
2nd, AJ Styles.
The phenomenal one.
You are, I am. And 1st, Jeff Jarrett.
Is that Jeff Jarrett?
That's right. And it's the TNA Championship. The first champion we recognise is Kurt Angle.
Right.
Number 10, James Storm.
Cowboy.
9th, Mick Foley.
Batman!
8th, Mr. Anderson. 7th, Jeff Hardy.
Oh, I'm not going to go drugs again, but where's the drugs, dude?
6th, Rob Van Dam.
The whole effing show.
5th, Bobby Roode.
The selfish generation.
4th.
Although he's really just stealing Erik Van Djismie's gimmick.
Yeah. 4th, Samoa Joe.
Some Samoan submission machine.
3rd, AJ Styles.
You are.
2nd, Kurt Angle.
Apparently, he didn't mean anything that was said on Twitter. He just wanted to let everyone know that he did.
Right. And first of all, Sting.
Woo!
So ladies and gentlemen, we now get to the really tough part.
WCW.
Oh no, yeah. Well, no, I forgot about the WCW Championship.
No. It's WCW.
Yeah. Funny, someone forgetting the WCW Championship. It's as if it never meant anything. Oh well. Sorry, Booker. Alright, 18 people here. Starting with number 18, Chris Benoit.
Nope.
17th, Kurt Angle.
Apparently, right, he did mean what he said on Twitter. It wasn't hacked. He wasn't drunk. He just thought it was really shitty Randy Orton stole his move.
16th, Vince Russo.
Prick.
15th, David Arquette.
Bigger prick.
14th, Chris Jericho.
Trolling.
13th, Diamond Dallas Page.
Bang!
12th, Bret Hart.
Best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be.
And 11, Jeff Jarrett.
Watch it slap nuts.
10th, The Rock and Psycho Sid.
How can you... The Rock is the great one. Sid's not.
Yeah.
Sid has half the brain anyone else has.
Yeah, number 9, The Big Show.
No, the giant, dude.
8, Diesel.
Kevin Nash.
7th, Scott Steiner.
I can't understand a word you just said.
6th, Ron Simmons.
Damn!
5th, Bill Goldberg.
Goldberg.
4th.
Goldberg.
Fuck you.
Goldberg.
4th, Booker T and Lex Luger.
Five-time WCW champion, sucker. And the wife killer.
3rd, Big Van Vader.
Not just Vader, dude. But it's time! It's time! It's Big Van Vader time? That doesn't sound like sin, does it?
2nd, Ric Flair.
Woo!
And number 1, Hulk Hogan.
Porn star Hulk Hogan.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I've called the Ultimate World Champion. Right, I've got all the superstars here that I mentioned, including, fair enough, one I had mentioned. I'm not quite sure where he was in the rankings, but
I have to think when you think of all these people now.
I think it was Stan Stasiak.
It was.
Yeah, Stan Stasiak is in this list. What number will he be? Well, we've got 64 superstars in total.
I can do this.
64 rankings. Let's quickly run through them. At 64, Andre the Giant, Dolph Ziggler, and Ezekiel Jackson.
A giant perfectionist with a big black head.
63rd is Masato Tanaka.
The roaring elbow.
62nd is Vince Russo.
Prick.
61st is James Storms and Sabu.
Sorry about your damn luck. Sabu!
60th is Stan Stasiak.
There he is.
Yay! 59th is David Arquette.
Bigger prick.
58th is Buddy Rogers.
The nature boy.
57th is Ivan Koloff and Diamond Dallas Page.
The Russian bear. Self high five.
56th is the Iron Sheik.
Fuck you. Bullshit.
55th is Jerry Lynn.
The new effing show.
54th is Vince McMahon.
Fucking hell.
53rd is Mikey Whipwreck.
Mikey!
52nd is Bam Bam Bigelow.
Beast from the East.
51st is Ken Shamrock.
Go on, Kenny.
50th is Tommy Dreamer.
Dreamer.
49th is Abyss and Mr. Anderson.
Apparently I'm on the show Mr. Jack Swire.
Yeah. 48th is the Great Khali.
Fuck you.
47th is Steve Corino.
King of old school.
46th is Sergeant Slaughter.
Return.
45th is Alberto Del Rio.
But you already knew that.
44th is Chavo Guerrero.
Chavito.
43rd is John Morrison.
This ain't no make-believe.
42nd is Daniel Bryan.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
41st is Mick Foley.
Bang!
40th is Rhino.
Go! Go! Go!
39 is Ron Killings.
That's what's up.
38th is Scott Steiner.
Pardon?
37th is Mark Henry and Sheamus.
No, once again, what did you say before?
36 is Rey Mysterio.
Booyaka! Booyaka!
35th is Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy.
Oh, that makes a treat.
34th is Psycho Sid.
Half the brain I had.
33rd is Bobby Roode.
Selfish generation.
32nd is Terry Funk and Rob Van Dam.
That would be an interesting conversation.
31st is Eddie Guerrero.
Viva la raza!
30th is Jack Swagger.
Suck with a sucker tax. I'm all American.
Yes, 29th is Mike Awesome.
That's 70s guy.
28th is Ron Simmons.
Damn!
27th is Bobby Lashley and Chris Jericho.
One was bald, one's not.
26th is Chris Benoit. 25th is The Miz.
Awesome.
24th is Just Incredible.
And that's just incredible.
23rd is Samoa Joe and Kane.
Interesting tag team.
22nd is Bill Goldberg and Booker T.
Goldberg.
21st.
Booker!
21st is The Rock.
Smell that's cooking.
Yeah, Jismie's not happy now. 20th is Brock Lesnar.
Damn.
29th is The Big Show.
Well.
28th is Lex Luger.
Wife killer.
27th, CM Punk and Dedge.
Well, technically, he wasn't wife killer. He didn't, you weren't married.
26th is The Undertaker.
Nah, that's not cool.
25th is The Sandman.
That's not cool either.
24th is Taz.
With one Z.
23rd is JBL.
Dun, dun, dun.
22nd is Yokozuna.
Banzai!
21st is The Ultimate Warrior.
Your rocket power fills me the 21st in the list.
20th is Billy Graham and AJ Styles.
Now, once again, without laughing.
Sorry. 19th is Stone Cold Steve Austin.
What?
18th is Shawn Michaels.
The showstopper.
17th is Vader.
It's time! It's time! It's Vader time! See, that sounds much better.
16th Christian.
Cage?
15th Raven.
Evermore.
14th Ric Flair.
Woo!
He's really not happy now. 13th Randy Orton.
Apparently his voices.
He's really not happy now. 12th Sting and Kurt Angle.
Well, Sting wants to get over with, and Kurt Angle said he didn't put that on Twitter.
Yeah.
It was someone else had his account number, and they put it on Twitter. But he is pissed off that he stole his voice.
11th Diesel and Batista.
Oh my fucking god, they're friends with Triple H. How do they get that high? They're friends with Triple H.
10th Bret Hart.
The excellence of execution.
9th is Randy Savage.
Dig it!
8th is Shane Douglas.
In the franchise.
7th is Pedro Morales.
Still have nothing for Pedro.
6th, Triple H.
The King of Kings.
5th is Jeff Jarrett.
Slapnuts.
4th is Bob Backlund.
The first ever man I get screwed.
3rd, Bruno Sammartino.
Should be in the Hall of Fame, really.
2nd is John Cena.
I guess I could...
No, you can't just like, can you?
If you want some, come get some.
And first...
Apparently no one did.
First, and the greatest world champions of all time, according to the stats, Hulk Hogan.
Porn star Hulk Hogan.
Right now, Jismee's going and doing the Daniel Bryan. Yes! Yes!
I told you all along!
So, apparently, according to the stats, Hulk Hogan is the greatest world champion of all time. However, if you accept that, you have to accept that John Cena is the second greatest of all time, and is only behind Hulk Hogan by a total of 6 points.
And yet the greatest in-ring performer, Shawn Michaels, is the 18th world champion.
So basically, what this basically means is if John Cena could, for example, get another 6 championships, or could get a few days longer as champion, he will beat Hulk Hogan and become the number 1 of all time. So, Jismie, I just want you to think about that. And that's, ladies and gentlemen, is why the stats probably lie.
Do you have a Big Ten this week?
No, not this week. Not this week because I was too busy working on my rock facts and my stats.
Well, how about maybe the Fantasy League then?
Yes, let's briefly talk about the Fantasy League. We're going to touch upon this in just a moment. But first of all, I just want to remind you guys that our next broadcast will be on Saturday, the 24th of March. Fantasy Wrestling League is something that we've been working on for a while. Well, I say we. Dan's been working on it, and I've been here working out how I can take credit. So why don't you explain to us a bit more about this Fantasy Wrestling League that we've got lined up?
Fantasy, it will work very much the same way as fantasy football, baseball, hockey, whatever. And the basic simple process is you'll pick a team of wrestlers, and divas allowed as well, once I've worked out that system. And you'll get points on appearances, points on wins, points on method of win, and there'll be special ones like every time a finish is used. It's very similar to the one that WWE used to use back in the day.
Yes.
And that you can see floating around online. Just we'll be in charge of this, and it'll be a special one for us.
Yeah.
Now, what will make ours slightly different is the draft process. We're going to do it more similar to the Fantasy NFL game, where there'll be a group of people will draft in turn. There'll be a whole roster of people from anywhere from CM Punk down to Derek Bateman and Zion and TNA and WWE, basically. The reason we're not doing Ring of Honor or any independent is because it's too hard to keep track of the point system for them over here.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind that it's hard enough to keep up in certain states in America with Ring of Honor and Chikara, and we're in a completely different country.
Yeah, I mean, we're across the pond, the United Kingdom, so it's really hard for us to keep in contact, especially when they're not really on TV.
So what we're going to do is a simple thing. We're going to set it up. We're going to launch it, hopefully, by WrestleMania. It'll be launched in time for WrestleMania, and we'll have a week period from WrestleMania to the next Raw, which will not be the night after, it'll be the week after, where the teams will be picked, and pointing will start the week after.
Yeah, so basically the first chance you get to score points is not the first Raw, but the second Raw following WrestleMania.
Yeah. Now the draft system, like I say, is the NFL draft system.
Yep.
Where we'll have maybe a group of, I don't know, maybe 10 or 12 people sitting together, or live stream, or some sort. That's something we're still working on, how we're going to draft sorted. There'll be a period of time you get to choose your participant, and we'll work that out as well. That all depends on whether we're going to do an in-person draft or a internet-based draft. Internet-based is probably the way it'll go. Draft is first come, first served.
Yep.
There's no salary cap. There's no prices, nothing. It is simply first person to get that superstar keeps that superstar. Their trades are allowed. You can trade for points in the draft, so you can get a higher pick, or you can trade superstar to superstar. Me and yourself will be overseeing everything. We'll be a GM/commissioner role.
Yeah.
So every trade must go through us, and we'll say whether it's fair or not. We'll look into teams, and we'll look to see, well, is this going to stack deck towards a certain superstar, a certain person, and we'll decide whether it should be allowed. Now, the simplest thing is the drawing system. Names in a hat, names we pull out, that will be the order that the draft will go in. Now, we will go through maybe a couple of runs before we get everything sorted. We'll be doing mock drafts and that to make sure everything works and everything's standard. and we will be putting rankings up. These rankings are an indication of how high a prospect the superstar would be. I've sorted this ranking out, so it's my ranking. You've got a complaint, tweet me, message me, whatever. But at the end of the day, all you're going to hear is get over it.
Yeah.
Because I'm just that nice.
Yes. Dan's the more non-bullshit of us lot.
So it's going to come to that. Now, the ranking will be posted on the Tumblr site every week and will be updated up until the day of your draft. The day of your draft, the rankings are solid. No matter if it changes the next day, that's what you're going to go with. Yep. Champions, challengers, anyone is included in there. Now, a point to make is just because you pick a tag team partner, doesn't say he's a tag team say you pick Samoa Joe, does not mean you will get Magnus. Magnus could go to a different person. Doesn't really make a difference in the long run. It means you equally get the same amount of points. Tag team matches, you will not share points. You'll get points directed towards your superstar.
Yes, so, but basically, you can't do like a Ric Flair and just draft the NWO.
Exactly.
You're looking only at single superstars. If they happen to be in a tag team, great. You got the chance of getting more points, perhaps. But don't assume just because they're a tag team, you're instantly going to get more points. It all depends on how the matches work, how the shows work. So don't basically, you can't really cheat the system. That's what we're saying.
To talk about the rankings more fully, we have non-active members on the roster so far, so therefore they won't be included in the rankings.
Exactly.
Injured superstars and superstars who are registered non-active on the roster, such as Devon or Abyss, and in WWE's case, Wade Barrett and Trent Beretta due to injury. We also have non-full-time wrestlers, which basically means a wrestler who doesn't work every week and just makes special appearances, such as Hulk Hogan, Sting, The Undertaker, Triple H, and of course, The Rock. Now, Chris Jericho is included because he has been wrestling as a full-time wrestler at the point.
Yes, but that can change.
Yes. So, to give you a brief glimpse of it, your rankings system, as we have it right now, starting at 1, going down to, I believe I have 46 people on this. It'll probably be added more, so the entire thing is on. The entire rosters are on. We start at CM Punk at number 1, Daniel Bryan, Bobby Roode, Sheamus, Jericho, James Storm, Cody Rhodes, John Cena, Big Show, Jeff Hardy is number 10. Buddy Ray, Dolph Ziggler, Kane, Randy Orton, Ted DiBiase Jr., who will now be added to the non-active due to his injury, Austin Aries. Santino Marella has jumped from the original ranking, which had him at about 31 to 18th, due to his US title run. Whether that lasts until SmackDown, who knows?
Yeah, or even next week.
Yes. Robbie E, Gunner, Jack Swagger, who dropped from 8th to 21st due to his Raw title, AJ Styles, R-Truth, Kurt Angle, Kofi Kingston, Mark Henry, Samoa Joe, Magnus, Epico, Primo, Christopher Daniels, Jinder Mahal, Otunga, Garrett Bischoff. I know Garrett Bischoff, 34, but he's been an active member of the roster and he's kept himself with some reasonable matches. Alex Shelley, Eric Young. I would have Eric Young higher, but I have to be impartial. Kaz, Zima Ion, Tyson Kidd, Yoshi Tatsu, Derek Bateman, McGillicuddy, Riley, O'Neal, Young, and Watson.
Right, so
now, as far as the NXT goes, it is included as a show. It will be marked as points, the same as Raw, SmackDown, or Impact, as with Explosion. Now, I have to warn you, if you choose a wrestler who's mainly featured on Explosion, you're not going to get as many points as you would with anyone else. Because the likely chance is you're just going to get one match every week.
What about Superstars?
Superstars will be included as well.
Okay.
Pointing system will be the same as NXT and Raw. Once again, though, I have to warn you that it's not. The likely chance is you won't see them more than once a week.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, many of these wrestlers you won't see more than once. Now, as points go, one time you get appearance points.
Yeah.
If he comes out twice in the show, you still only get one because he's made his appearance earlier in the show.
Yeah.
But you get points for a match as well. Where he competes in a match.
Yeah.
You get points for a win and whatever. If he competes in a speciality match, we will update We will update you on how many points that speciality match is worth.
Yes.
And we will always keep you updated, as well as giving you a new ranking system every week throughout the season. Now, so far the season should be going WrestleMania to SummerSlam, I believe we said. SummerSlam to Royal Rumble, and then we will be having a Road to WrestleMania season between the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania.
Yeah, so obviously, we'll have a leaderboard set up and all that jazz. We're at the moment working out a prize system for being like obviously the winner of the Fantasy Wrestling League. We have not got any details on that right now. That'll be that's something we'll be discussing as we go. This isn't something we're looking for. This is free to play. Right? This is to be free to play for a laugh, and we will be updating new details about this on our Tumblr page at totalmarkout.tumblr.com, and obviously our future Facebook page, which we'll be probably making. It'll probably be released by the time you're listening to this recording. Right, so basically, we are going to be getting ready because we are going to be interviewing Zad the Legend in approximately 40 minutes. Hopefully, we'll get Erik Van Djismie back so he can talk about what his thoughts are as he prepares to fly over to Miami.
Unless he keeps working us. He's doing the whole Sandman gimmick where he's not leave his root house.
Yeah, you never know. Other than that, but we're going to be doing our own special WrestleMania talks. I am going to be doing, for a first top 10 on my show, I'm going to be doing a top 10 WrestleMania moments. These are my personal favourites. Not trying to rank them of all time or anything. These are my personal choices of what I believe are the top 10 WrestleMania moments for me as a mark.
I'll be doing the Geek Kings special WrestleMania You Gotta Watch, where I'll feature probably matches and build-ups or particular rivalries that lead into WrestleMania. And I'll do maybe 3 with the obligatory, Shawn Michaels moment in there as well. Gotta throw Mr. WrestleMania in there.
And hopefully Erik Van Djismie will grace us with a fantastic WrestleMania-related #Rock Fact. Well, as I said, you can follow us on Tumblr at totalmarkout.tumblr.com. And where can they find you again on Twitter?
They can find me at King632.
Oh, yes. And I believe people can find me at SteveJones313.
And they can find Erik Van Djismie at Erik Van Djismie.
At ErikVanDjismie. And the D is silent. And hey, why not check out other videos? I mean, you can check us out at blip.tv /totalmarkout. And you can also visit my own personal YouTube page at youtube.com/user/The Wandering Angel, where you find all of the videos, including the Total Markout videos you're watching right now. Well, as I said, that's all we've got time for, Djismie. Hope you're getting better out there. And, for all the illness you may be suffering right now and the fact that I embarrassed you with the rock facts and the fact that we're quite frankly better presenters than you, just remember one thing.
I miss you, bro. I miss you.
Just remember one thing, Djismie. According to my segment, Hulk Hogan's the greatest world champion of all time. Get better soon, mate. Thanks, guys, for watching.
Mark out!